Hello everyone, this is Mrs. Rouse, of course, and we have a video for today, and then you'll be working on the project. Um, as we get started, what all you're going to need today is all those pieces you cut out, and then that piece, your background piece, which for most of you is of course the large black piece. So get that ready to go, and I'm going to talk about your compositional suggestions again. But first of all, I want to talk about your bulletin board page. So I just printed it out. This is the one for today. Remember, you should be looking at this all the time. First of all, you have a verse today. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And I just thought, well, that's a wonderful verse. People love it because it's like, if I rely on God, I can do this. I can get through this, whatever this happens to be. But today it's your teacher's not here. So I will be out of town. It's my 40th wedding anniversary this weekend. So I will be there on Tuesday. You can email me, but you'll be doing the lessons on your own for day A and day B. But I will be there to ask questions on day B. Some other announcements we have here. Go ahead and check your grades. If I've actually given you a 0 for something, that means I've graded that particular grade and I don't have yours. So make sure that you take care of that. If there's nothing there at all, I just haven't graded it yet. Okay, materials today, you need all these things. That's it. So it has a simplified lesson and so on. You're already looking at the video. And then it talks about the lesson. It's also important you don't glue yet. The whole point of these compositional exercises is not so much let's glue down pieces of paper and learn how to glue down pieces of paper, right? The whole point is practicing our compositions. So as we get started, I'm going to review compositions with you real quick. First of all, I wanted to show you one of the samples I have while I talk about it. So let's talk about this particular sample. Creates movement around the page. You notice that as you look around, we kind of have a figure 8 here movement-wise. So that's interesting. And they've used repetition. They've repeated these things to get you to look around. You're looking up and down here. This kind of goes back and forth a little bit, but lots of things are getting you looking at a figure 8 because they've repeated things here. Discourages movement off the page just because you've really turned you back in at the corners. You don't always have to do that, but when you can, you do it. It deals with the entire page. Yeah, things feel pretty good sitting there. Depth, this assignment doesn't really have depth, but you do notice that the centers of interest do tend to pull out towards you. Does it have high interest areas? Yeah, we have basically 5 of them, these 4, and then this large one in the middle. It's a little bit like a bullseye. Does it have rest areas? Yes, things that are slightly less interesting where we can kind of wander around. Like these, even this and this, as exciting as they are, they're less interesting than these are. Does it have contrast? So I built contrast in the project. You have the lights, the darks, and then the different sizes, and then how you this type of a detail is different than this type of a detail, so they're contrasting each other. Odd numbers, there's basically 3. They've got that. The rule of thirds, yeah, they're using it. You don't have to always use the rule of thirds, but if there's no reason not to, go ahead and use it. Center of interest isn't in the middle. Well, they've got one in the middle here, and it's a symmetrical composition, so then, yeah, there you go. And then awkward situations, not really. I just want to remind you this particular project's non-objective, which means it's not a thing, there's no object, so we don't want a flower or a house or have it look like your little brother or something like that. It's just a pure design. The next one, don't place objects on the bottom edge. That doesn't really apply. The use of lines should show variety. By the way, how you can show variety there is your spacing. Like here we have some really nice, close, tight spacings that are pretty consistent. And here we have some wider spacing. So that's giving us some variety to how things are put together, which makes it more interesting. And then definitely no words, signs, and symbols on this one. I wanted to talk about the back side of the sheet real quick. Remember, there's so much out there with composition, and there's books and lessons, and teachers can talk a long time. So this is a lot of great basic information. But some other things, the different types of lines you use, do different things psychologically. A curved, soft lines, they tend to look feminine and they help you feel gentle and calm. If you have a horizontal line, because that's how we see the world, they tend to give us stability, peace, serenity. If you have something that's kind of scaring, throw a horizon line in behind it, and at least people have a way they can handle looking at your image. Vertical lines show strength, grandeur. Think of a tall tree or something. That's kind of what we think of when we see a vertical line. Diagonal lines are unexpected, and so they're really dynamic. They can show movement and power and things like that. And then when it has to do with shading, of course, always having the same light source. A couple of main things, the rule of thirds we talked about. They also have something in design called the 60-30-10 rule. And what that means is that you have a dominant color, in this case black, so 60% of your design is black. Then you have a secondary color, which would be the gray, and then 30% of your design is gray. And with the gray, it kind of sets up a lot of things, but the gray is not necessarily going to be your center of interest. Your 10% color is what you use in really dynamic areas to really catch somebody's eye. I would say in this sample, they've used more than 10%, right? But especially interior design, they really watch these percentages and they know it makes things look great. So it's a nice rule to help you, don't have exactly the same amount of everything, including color. And then there's more things you can work on. So I wanted to briefly show you these samples, and then I'm going to talk about how we want to go about the project today. So I talked about this one. This one's kind of fun. It's also symmetrical. Remember, it doesn't have to be, but you can see how they're guiding you around in a circle, and you go around and around. Then this neat kind of design in the middle is just kind of pulling you out again, and then around, in, out, around. So it's very, very strong as far as directing you in movement. It has, when you bring somebody somewhere, give them something to find. These are very pretty little details they've created. So on a lot of levels, this one's working nice. We don't even care about the corners because we're not looking there because we're so excited about this. Here's one that's not symmetrical, but it's very orderly, strong movement, right? You just look at this and it crosses over this way, kind of over and over again. I would say if it could have something stronger, maybe a center of interest or something unexpected. This would probably be the center of interest where it all crosses, but maybe something more exciting could have happened there or here or somewhere. But it's got great movement. Here's another one. I just wanted to comment. Sometimes you don't need everything. I want you to notice these two pieces here. See, these two pieces are missing. Sometimes you have your design, you can pull parts of it off that you don't really need, not always in a symmetrical way. So this gives us a little bit of a chubby S shape because these two are missing. And then, movement-wise, very directional here. Then you go out here, and we come back in here. But sometimes play around with these extra pieces you've added. You may not need them all, and you may find that you don't have to use them in a symmetrical way. Here's another one that's symmetrical. Just has a pretty detail. That's why I showed you that one. This one's kind of nice because they've done a lot with their negative space. Now, their negative space is the black. And they have some really nice zigzags, and see how it's repeated here at the side. So 4 times. So it gives a really nice adding to the design of these, just the spacing. So that was really nice. And then we have this, it looks very similar to that as well. So kind of a theme. It's not the center of interest, but it really backs up your center of interest. And it does have some great centers of interest. And you have, this is really powerful, but these, because of their contrast, are probably even stronger. I just wanted to show you this one's dominant color is white, so it looks a little bit different. This one I wanted to talk about briefly. It has some great stuff going for it. You see some nice directional lines and this uniform spacing. It has 5, which is an odd number. Why? It's okay that there's only 2 here because together it's 5, and all 5 are important. I just want to say it probably needs one stronger center of interest, probably not here. This is too far in the corner. So maybe one of these two could have been just slightly more exciting, or mix it up a little bit, just a little bit more, but it has a nice, so when you get this far, don't forget to reward us with a center of interest. And I wanted to show you this one too. So it has some nice thoughtful things, like here you're drawn across sentiment, here we're drawn across here. But look, our center of interest is not as exciting as this one. Plus it's all stretched out to the corner, and this is right on the corner, which is maybe not such great placement. Here we've only got 2 of these. That's a little awkward. This is repeated. It looks like maybe this is another one of these things, but because this isn't stretched out, I don't read it as another one. So it probably could use just a little tweaking to be a little bit stronger. So this is a composition that's almost there, you know. So I just wanted to explain how we can talk about what could be stronger or not. So as far as what you're doing in class today, you're going to be making 3 arrangements. You're going to have your design, and then you're going to, I would probably start with the big ones. You don't have to. Maybe I'll start with some type of diagonal thing here. And maybe I have a couple, let's say I move this in a little bit further. So right now I'm starting with it kind of symmetrically. I don't have a plan. I'm just playing, to tell you the honest truth. This, maybe I'll move this in like this and this. So this is now interesting to me. So I'm going to keep playing with it and hopefully find, how did that work? So somehow the spacing's wrong. This is also interesting. And then I work my way to smaller and smaller pieces with more and more details and so on. So let's say I started placing some of these around. So you're doing different types of things and seeing how exciting your composition can be. Maybe that's a little bit, compared to what I've done so far, that looks good, but it's not quite, I'm not quite feeling that. Maybe this might be stronger. So playing around with some different ideas. In this case, it's symmetrical, but it's at the diagonal, so it's kind of, that's what I was thinking. I'm going to repeat these 2, but move them just a little bit, and then maybe I'll go up or something like that. But since there's 4, I'll probably add a 5th one. You can have things go off the side, as you can see I'm doing, and then you just kind of cut them off. So maybe, no, I don't like that. So I'm going to go back to 3 of those. And then I just keep playing with it over and over until I use a whole lot more pieces. Maybe I have, I should have some more interesting black pieces here. Maybe I'm going to introduce something like this. I don't know. So keep playing with it, come up with some nice stuff. Maybe I have some kind of, I'm just trying to move the video along right here. Maybe I've done something like that. You know, and then maybe I've decided that these need just a little bit more interest, and then maybe I've got something here and here, and maybe a piece, aha, that was the problem, maybe a piece there, and zip, a piece here. Anyway, so I'm playing around with it until I find something that I believe is even stronger than I have before. And eventually I get a nice, let's pretend it starts to look really, really good. So then I get a nice composition, and then then when I'm done, I take a photo. You know, I really like it, I'm done, I take a photo. Okay, then what I'm going to do, I'm going to get rid of it. And this is really going to be hard for you to do. You're not going to want to do that because you put so much time into it, but you do have a photo of it. And then the next one you do, I want you to start completely differently. I want you to have a whole different idea. And you know, see what you can come up with a completely change of your design. So I don't know what I'm going to do with this one. So try. I want you to do this 3 times. Come up with 3 things that you like, that you're okay with. See, I made an interesting negative shape over here. 3 times. Take 3 photographs. For the assignment for today, I've attached a slideshow. And what you're going to do is on your slideshow, you're going to have just 1 page. And then on your page, you're going to put 3 designs on the same place. And then next time we have in class, I'm going to have you, I'm kind of throwing some stuff. I'm going to have you, we're going to talk about which one's your stronger one, which one maybe you'll end up gluing down. So I do not want you to use glue today. It's going to be really tempting. Take your glue and like toss it, get rid of it. It's not allowed to come to the party yet. So, so let's say I keep playing with this, so make it really, really nice. Take a picture. Anyway, 3 times. That's your assignment today, and I want you to spend some time on this. 3 different nice designs. Attach them all to that slide in the slideshow. That's all you have to do. The slideshow will be on the assignments page, and then next time we're in class, we'll talk about it. That's it. Thank you.